Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Master Duel Traptrix deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an extremely powerful deck to play on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel because of how easily this deck controls the board with all your whole trap cards. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like in your name, description, every single video, getting get signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Traptrix Marmelio. This card is a definite 3 of in the build. It is an amazing normal summon because this card has the ability that when this card is normal summon, you can add a whole normal trap card from your deck to your hand. And if this card is special summon, target a spell or trap card your opponent controls and destroy it, which is a really powerful effect. We then play 3 copies of Mantooth. Mantooth is great as a 3 of in this deck as well, because when this card is normal summon, you can add a Traptrix monster from your deck to your hand, which is a really cool effect to be able to search out anything that you need, essentially being the Stratos of the deck. It also has an ability that's unaffected by the effects of whole normal trap cards, and once per turn, quick effect, you can target one set spell or trap card that you control and return that target back to the hand. Then you can set a spell or trap card from your hand, helping you basically out cards like MST, Cosmic Cyclone, or anything that might pop your back row, which is really good. We then play 3 copies of Boudica. Boudica is really good as a 3 of in the deck because this card helps you get to your field spell just by summoning this card out to your side of the field. It has a really cool ability that when this card is normal summon, you can add a copy of the Traptrix Garden from your deck to your hand. And if this card is special summon, you can target one special summon monster your opponent controls and banish it. Also, during the next standby phase, your opponent can special summon one of their banished monsters. We then play 2 copies of Dionia. This card is really good as a 2 of, but you really only need 2 copies of this card. It's a great extender because it has the ability that when this card is normal summon, you can target a Traptrix monster in your graveyard and special summon that target in defense position, which is a great effect just to be able to bring back one of your Traptrix monsters to your side of the field. It also has the ability when this card is special summon, you can target a whole normal trap card in your graveyard and set that target, but banish it during the end phase of the next turn if it's still on the field, which is a pretty good ability to be able to get one of your trap holes back. We then play 2 copies of Arachnacampa. Arachnacampa is a great extender in the deck, but you only need 2 copies of this card. It has a really cool ability that during the main phase, if you control a Traptrix monster, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters in the extract for the rest of the turn except insect or plant monsters, which is not that big of a deal because all of our Traptrix monsters are either insect or plants. We then play 3 copies of Parallel Izzy. Parallel Izzy is great in this deck as a 3-of because it helps you make all sorts of rank 4 plays, which is so cool because if you do link summon, you can special summon this card from your hand and then special summon another copy of Parallel Izzy to your side of the field, making them both level 4 and 1000 attack and 1000 defense. And since our main card we're summoning out from the extra deck is actually a link 1, it makes it so easy to be able to summon out your copy of Parallel Izzy and make any play that you need. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's a definite 3-of in the deck because this card just stops your opponent from touching the deck. We then play 3 copies of Max C. Max C is an insane hand trap in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and it's crazy that this card is still at 3, and it's a definite 3-of in the build just to help you dig into the deck because every time your opponent special summons, you're going to draw a card. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Traptrix Garden. This card is great as a 1-of in the deck, but you only need a single copy of it because your copy of Boudica can actually search this card. As the ability during your main phase, you can normal summon one Traptrix monster in addition to your normal summoner set, which is a really cool ability about this card just so you can summon out more Traptrix monsters. And the first time each insect or plant monster you control would be destroyed by a battle each turn, it is not destroyed. And you can also banish one monster you control and then special summon one Traptrix monster from your hand or graveyard, which is a great effect. We then play a single copy of Pot of Prosperity. This card is great just to help you dig into the deck to get to the exact cards that you need. We then play a single copy of Crossout Designator. Crossout Designator is really good in this build as a one-of because we can stop hand traps like Max C, Ash Blossom, and even cards like Infinite Impermanence. We then play 2 copies of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave just stops your opponent's hand traps and is a great 2-of in the build. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start off with a single copy of Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. This card is great as a one-of just at dealing with your opponent's monsters, because when a monster that your opponent controls that was special summoned this turn activates its effect, negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card. We then play a single copy of Terrifying Trap Hole Nightmare. This card is great as a one-of in the build because it has the ability, if your opponent has special summoned a monster of this turn, you can target one monster that your opponent controls with 2,000 or more attack, destroy it. Then if you have a whole normal trap card in your graveyard, then you can banish one monster from your opponent's graveyard, which is a really cool effect for this card to have. And then a single copy of the classic Bottomless Trap Hole. This is actually my favorite trap hole of them all. I used to use this all the time, and it's really good in this deck because it has the ability, when your opponent summons a monster with 1,500 or more attack, destroy that monster or monsters with 1,500 or more attack, and if you do, banish it instead of sending it to the grave, which is an insanely powerful effect. We then play a single copy of Grave Trap Hole. This card almost works like a Call by the Grave, which is really good, because when your opponent activates a monster effect in their hand or graveyard, or when your opponent's banished monster effect is activated, negate its effect, and if you do, inflict 2,000 points of damage to your opponent, which is a really insane ability. We then play 2 copies of Floodgate Trap Hole. Floodgate Trap Hole is really good as a 2-of in the build, because this card basically flips your opponent's monsters face down, and they have to stay face down, which is insane, because when your opponent summons a monster, change that monster to face down defense position, and monsters change to face down defense position by this effect cannot change their battle position. We then play 3 copies of Holtia. Holtia is really good as a 3-of in the deck, because this card just summons itself as a monster, which is insane. Because you can activate this card the turn it was set by discarding one normal trap card, and then you special summon this card in defense position as a normal monster that is a plant earth level 4 400 attack 2400 defense, and this card is not treated as a trap card. And you also banish this card from your graveyard and then target a Traptrix monster in your graveyard and special summon it, which is a great ability, but you can only use one effect of this card per turn, and only once that turn. You cannot get both effects. We then play 2 copies of Evenly Matched. Evenly Matched is really good because this card just helps you deal with your opponent's field if you do go second, and it's a great 2-of in the build. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Imperm is just insane to be able to stop your opponent's monster effects while also locking down entire columns of spells and traps, which is just really good for this build. So that's it for the traps, guys, and the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start off with 3 copies of Traptrix Sarah. This card is definitely a 3-of in the build, and a card you're always summoning in this deck. This card just requires 1 non-link Traptrix monster to make this card, and the link summoned, or this link summoned card, is unaffected by trap effects. And you can only use each of the following effects of this card once per turn, and not during the damage step. If a normal trap card is activated, you can special summon a Traptrix monster from your deck with a different name than cards that you control, and if one of your other Traptrix monsters effect is activated, you can set a whole normal trap card directly from your deck, which is absolutely insane, and one of the reasons we only play 1 each of the majority of our whole trap cards is because of this card and Rafflesia. We then play a single copy of Curlia. This card is just a good 1-of in the deck. You only need a single copy of this card, and it's a really good card in this build. We then play a single copy of Adipus. Adipus is great because this card gives all your monsters a boost, and it helps you OTK your opponent, which is why we're playing this card as a 1-of in the deck. We then play a single copy of Access Code. Access Code is just really good to be able to summon to your side of the field and OTK your opponent with this card because it can come out absolutely massive, and it's a really good card overall. We then play 2 copies of Rafflesia. I feel like 2 is the perfect number for Rafflesia. I feel like 1 is just usually not enough, but this card is insane because it basically lets you use your trap holes directly from your deck, which is just really insane. We then play 2 copies of Pangicula. Pangicula is just an amazing card overall, and I absolutely love this card at 2 do is while this card has a material, it's unaffected by trap effects and the activated effects of other monsters with the same type as monsters that are attached to this card or its materials, which is just super cool. It also has the ability that you can detach a material from this card to add a Traptrix monster from your deck to your hand, and if a monster owned by your opponent is sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, except during the damage step, you can attach one of those monsters to this card as a material, which is really insane. We then play a single copy of Alamiras. Alamiras is just a good 1-up in the deck, and I love this card because it has the ability that you can detach 2 materials from this card to special summon a level 4 insect or plant monster from your graveyard, and if an opponent's monster leaves the field because of your card effect and is now in the graveyard or banished, except during the damage step, you can detach a material in this card and target one of them and special summon it to your side of the field, which is really good for this card to be able to do, just give you more monsters on your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Time Thief Redoer. Redoer is a definite 1-up in the deck because you can easily make this card with your copy of Holtia and another monster, so it has a trap attached to it, so it gets that bounce effect, which is just really good about this card. Plus it takes a card off the top of your opponent's main deck every turn, which is just insane. And then play a single copy of Baguska. Baguska is really good in case you need to slow down the game, and this card is just amazing, especially since we're playing a trap deck. We then play a single copy of Abyss Dweller. This card can usually end games on its own depending on what you're playing against. This card can completely shut down strategies, which is amazing, and it makes this card a definite 1-up in the build. And finally, a single copy of Double A Zeus. Double A Zeus is amazing because this card is a board wipe, and it's super easy to summon because we're basically playing a bunch of XZs in this build, and it's just really easy to make in this deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you guys have never played Traptrix on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel before, I highly recommend it because it's super fun. It's absolutely crazy how easy it is to control the board, and it's a really cool deck that controls the board really easily with all of your trap hole cards, which is just amazing. So that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of our notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.